I just finished framing the garage walls on a model of this house, designed by Advanced House Plans. Stick around and watch how I take it from this to this. Let's go. Before I start framing the garage walls, I need to go around and I need to secure all these corners, because right now, as you can see, they are not attached. I also have to go through and straighten and plumb all the walls. So let's get to it. So from this back wall to the front wall, I need 2 foot 8 inches. And so this corner is slightly wacky here, but it's just such a small amount, that's not going to really matter. Right here, I'm not necessarily going for them being perfect, although a lot of them are pretty close. Now that we got the corner secure, the walls are straightened and plumbed, we can move on to framing the garage walls. Before we start doing that, there's these pieces of top plate that need to be removed. When I'm framing the garage walls, the very top plate is going to overlap into the house and tie everything together nicely. When we're framing the garage walls, what we're going to do is we are going to keep this plain and then build up to it. And we're going to do it on the same, we're going to do the same on the other side. And we should be good. So this isn't typically how you would frame the garage walls into the house. But I figured that because there's so much overlap into the house that it would tie it in better. These are the garage door headers. These are the front porch posts. And these are the studs to frame the garage with. And so here I'm just taking off the top plates. That one right there I need to fix. This one I only put the bottom portion of the top plate on. And that was because I knew that I was going to be overlapping the very top plate back onto the house. And so what I'm trying to do here is just keep the same plane that the top of the wall is at. Right here I'm just trying to establish what the length of stud I need to cut. And then it's just rinse and repeat until the wall's framed up. And then this side, I just forgot to do the whole layout, so I might as well do it now. The 16-inch on center spacing is typically what houses are framed at. This scale that I'm using, that layout is every 1 inch. And all I'm doing here is simply plumbing up to get my layout for the top plate. And I switched over to this because the level kept hitting the foundation, and I didn't really have a good place to level up from. So for this top plate, I simply forgot to notch out for a 2x6 at the top, so that the top plate for the overhead door can overlap on top of it. So I'm going to just take that out right now. It's a good world. It's the same thing over here as the longer garage wall. We're just trying to keep the plane of the top of the wall, and then same deal, just rinse and repeat until this wall is framed up. And so here I'm just trying to establish my jack height for the garage door header. And so the bottom of the header needs to be at 7 1/4 to allow for a 9-foot garage door. So here I actually forgot to lay out the jack studs and the king studs for the garage door. So I'm going to take care of that before I actually get it up there. So here I'm assembling the jack studs to the king studs, and they are going to act as one unit. And this garage door header has 2 jack studs for the length of the header. And I don't remember specifically doing this so that it worked out, but you just saw me measuring for the garage door header, and it literally, the length of that header is literally what fits into the opening. So I must have figured it that way and forgot about it, because I didn't have to cut anything. So here I'm installing the header, and oh, what in the... Alright, so one end is up higher than the other, and that's probably because the top of the foundation over on this side is higher than over on this side. So we are going to put a shim on the top of the jack here, and that should fix it. Now, you wouldn't do that in the field, but we're gonna get away with it right now. Here I'm installing wall bracing and plumbing up the garage walls, and then that'll be the last thing we do. Alright, I got a couple more areas that need wall bracing. The last component of of framing the walls is going to be the wall sheathing. And does that resemble anything that you guys might know? So I'm pretty excited to be putting this up, and yes, there will be black tape. So I'm very excited to start this next video, but for now, we'll see you on the next one.